It is opening weekend of the Premier League in Europe, and this is what we are going to discuss on this week's show. Hopefully some actionable info for you guys to make some money. We're going to look at the first game on Saturday morning, Arsenal and Tottenham. Then we'll go to the last game on Saturday as Newcastle take on Aston Villa, and then we'll switch over to a Sunday fixture, the biggest game of the weekend, Chelsea at Stamford Bridge hosting Liverpool. A lot to cover. Three guys are going to help you break it down with some info, some plays, and hopefully some money-making plays for you guys. Tune in for the show. Guys, if you don't want to miss one of these shows, if you don't want to miss any of the WagerTalk shows with a lot of actionable info, hit that subscribe button below and hit that like comment, and you'll never miss a show. Let's get right to it. Kevin Dolan, Arsenal, our favorite team last season. They were a team that we made a lot of money on. We tried to fade them at times. It didn't work out properly, but they take on Nottingham. The odds on this one, we've got Arsenal as a big favorite, minus 524. The draw is plus 635. Nottingham plus 1302, 13-1 on your money if they can pull off the upset at the Emirates. Kev, where are we going with your second favorite team? Chelsea's your first.
And you have to say, Carmine, that Jenga tower got pretty high last year before it eventually toppled as well for Arsenal. In terms of this game, look, I was really, really tempted to take the dog. You know, anytime you see a +2 or anything like that, you're looking that direction. You know, first game of the season especially. I'm a fan of Steve Cooper as well on top of that, but you know, you're talking about a team in Nottingham Forest who were absolutely abysmal away from home last season. You know, they had the Premier League's worst overall road record. They had just one win from 19 games. You know, even that solitary bright spot for them came against bottom of the table Southampton. They conceded 44 goals, generated just 8 total points, you know, both of which were the worst tallies in the entire league. And they got absolutely hosed 5-0 in each of the last 2 visits to the Emirates. So, you know, I get it. It's a big line. I really, like I said at the start, I really wanted to take it, especially being week 1. But there's no way I could touch Nottingham Forest in this game, given what we saw from them on the road last year. So I have to go Arsenal or pass in this one, even at -2.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. The line is just too big for me to have any money on this game as far as a side. I just can't lay the goals, but I get where you're coming from. Nick and I, if you guys, we have an EPL show. If you're subscribed, and you should be, to WagerTalk, you can find our preview show on our channel. But Nick and I disagreed on Nottingham. I think they're going to get relegated this season. But laying a couple of goals, I don't want to go that way. As far as what I'm going to play on this game, before I go to Brian Power, is I'm just going to take a goal scoring prop, and I'm going to take Nketiah. Nketiah is plus 135, I believe, to score a goal. And with these wagers, anytime you take a goal scoring prop, if the player does not start, your wager is avoided. So that is always a good option to have when you're taking a plus money one. If he doesn't start, you don't have to worry about it. It's going to be voided by your book. Brian, Jenga last year, as Kevin said, this Arsenal team, they started on top and then they finished second. There's a joke in there somewhere, but give us your thoughts on this one.
Yeah, look, I understand Nottingham Forest is certainly one of the leading candidates to be relegated this season, and Arsenal has pretty much established itself as the second best team in the Premier League. But it's the first match week of the season. It's the dreaded early start time where sometimes crazy things can happen, and I'm getting a 2-goal head start. I'm going to hold my nose and take Forest plus the 2 here. I realize there's not a lot to hang your hat on with Forest. They had just the one away win last season, as Kevin mentioned, but maybe Arsenal gets caught napping, okay? They're coming off the big win over City in the Community Shield last week. There's possibly a hangover there. And after the World Cup last year, if you go back to the World Cup break, after that, the Gunners conceded 1.27 XG per 90. Also, one of the big reasons they were so successful, they were a very healthy side last year. Already, we've got some injuries with Jesus being out, so that's something to monitor. Can they stay healthy 2 years in a row? Probably not. The bottom line is this is not going to make my card, but where I think this match is going to be instructive, guys, is we can assess, is the gap between the top and bottom in this league as wide as some of us think it might be, right? I mean, Forest is a bottom team. Arsenal's a top team, obviously. if Arsenal runs away with it, we're probably going to see a lot more +2s, but it's the first match of the season. I'll hold my nose and grab the 2. That's the way to play it. Forest +2 is my lean.
All right, Brian Power, WagerTalk.com. Pavlos, I'm going to give you the final word on this. And Brian mentioned, with Gabriel Jesus obviously injured out of the lineup, it's one of the reasons why I went with Eddie Nketiah to score a goal at +135. I would think he would be in the starting lineup up front. Give me your thoughts on this game.
Yeah, well, Arsenal, it's true that they were dealt a major injury blow to Gabriel Jesus. To be honest, they still have Balogun in the roster, but they're not using him. He's taking, individual workouts. They're probably looking to sell him. I think he's a better striker than Nketiah, but Nketiah doesn't have just the market value that Balogun has. So they're probably going to sell Balogun, and they're going to keep Nketiah, which he's a decent backup, but, it's kind of worrisome, to have your main striker unavailable for the start of the season. Now, Arsenal, I really liked what they did with the transfers, and they looked very good in the warm-up friendlies, and they actually met a better opposition than Nottingham, and I tend to keep take those results in the friendlies with a grain of salt. But Nottingham Forest, they played 7 friendlies. They won just 2 against Levante and Notts County. They lost to Valencia, they lost to Leeds, they lost to Eindhoven. They dropped 5 goals to Rennes, so they didn't score in each of the last 4. And again, this Nottingham side, they spent a ton of cash last season. Right now in the summer transfer window, they brought in just 4 players. But again, I think chemistry is going to be an issue still in this side, and which is, I truly believe this is more like a business than an actual sports club for the owner, who he's spending a lot of cash, and then he sells some of these players, try to get some cash back. It's a business for him. It's not a real. You don't build clubs like this with all the transfers coming in and out. There's no way you can build chemistry. This play is not gonna make my card on Saturday, because, as you guys said, it's the early kickoff and all kinds of weird stuff happen on the early kickoff. But if I had to bet on something, I would bet on Arsenal -2. However, the odds are dropping, so it might go to -225 before this day is done, which complicates my feelings even more. So if I had to bet on something, I'd bet on Arsenal -2, because I genuinely see them, making a strong start in the season. Nottingham Forest, as you guys said, were just terrible away from home last season, and they didn't really do something to change it. So yeah, sign me up for Arsenal -2, but just take it slow, because again, it's the early kickoff and it's the first match of the season. There's bound to be some rust, but I do see Arsenal winning here. But the question is by how much?
Yeah, we definitely saw a lot of surprises last season in those early kickoff games in the Premier League on Saturday mornings. And Pablo, I echo the thoughts on Nottingham. Last year, they had the biggest turnover in changes, and they just never formed that chemistry. And they picked up 8 points in their final 4 rounds of the Premier League season to save them from relegation, finished 4 points above that relegation zone. So we'll see what happens with them. But we've got a couple guys on the show on opposite sides of this game. So what better opportunity for you guys to drop your comment in the video below and let us know what you think about this game. We love sharing our thoughts, and we want to hear yours as well too. So drop a comment on this game and tell us, who do you think wins? Is it Arsenal or is it Nottingham at that huge price? Guys, let's get into the second game that goes on Saturday. This is the 12:30 Eastern time game, the final game on Saturday in the Premier League. It is Newcastle and Aston Villa. The odds on this one, Newcastle -134, the draw +287. Aston Villa, a juicy +361. Kev, I'm going to go to you first. St. James Park, a very tough place to play in the past, and even more so last season, as Newcastle had a fantastic season. Give us your thoughts on this one.
Oh, that +361 looks juicy, Carmine. It's a tricky game. Both of these teams obviously had standout seasons last year. Newcastle obviously claiming that top 4 spot in the league. But, arguably even more impressive than that was Aston Villa's turnaround under Unai Emery to close out the year. The Villains won 9 of their final 14 games outright. Only Liverpool and Manchester City had a better closeout to the season than Aston Villa did. And that included Aston Villa absolutely drubbing Newcastle 3-0 back in April as well. So, Villa have turned into a serious outfit under Unai Emery. And, Pavlos mentioned the last breakdown, I don't read too much into pre-season friendlies, but, they were cruising 2-0 up against Newcastle within just 11 minutes just a few weeks ago over in Philadelphia. So, Moussa Diaby, Pau Torres, Yuri Tielemans and so on, Emery has been busy in the transfer window. He certainly hasn't been messing around. And I just feel like at 3/4 of a goal, it just, as good as Newcastle are, obviously they're good, especially at home. I just feel that's a little bit big and maybe a bit disrespectful on the away side here. So, again, if I had to play this game, I'd be taking Aston Villa plus 3/4 here.
Kev, I have to agree with you. I like the exact same play, 3/4 of a goal. Now, if you guys are watching this or new to soccer and you're wondering what is 3/4 of a goal, it is the Asian split line. And what you can do is you can head over to WagerTalk and click on any of the cappers pages that are on this show, and you'll find a soccer cheat sheet that you can download for free that breaks down Asian lines and how you bet them and how you win betting them. So head over to WagerTalk and pick up that cheat sheet on Asian lines. Brian, I'm going to go to you on this one as well too. I agree with Kevin on this one. I like the 3/4 head start in this one. And I'm going to sprinkle some money on the money line as well too. I love Emery. I love the fact that he brought in Pau Torres, who is going to solidify that defense for them. Give me your thoughts on this one.
Well, this is going to be another chance, I guess, for the people on YouTube to comment away and think who they think is right here, because I'm on the other side here. For what it's worth, this is the lone fixture on Saturday where we've got both sides projected to finish in the top 10 this year. So interesting first match here. Unai Emery, yeah, you got to tip your cap to what he did last season with this Aston Villa club. After his hire on November 1st, they post the 5th highest point total in the league. They end up qualifying for Europa Conference League. There was that incredible run of the both teams that scored no prop, if you guys recall. It was pretty crazy. Not a lot of goals. There were a lot of 1-goal victories, though, for Aston Villa. I thought they overperformed somewhat, as good as they were. They wound up with a plus 14 goal differential after Emery takes over, but their expected goal differential was a lot closer to even. So I'm actually not as high on Villa as some are coming into the year. They're certainly going to finish top 10. They could finish top 8, but I'm not so keen on a top 4 or top 6 finish. It's going to be interesting to see how European football affects them. And Newcastle, on the other hand, I think they've got a great shot at finishing top 4 again. Last year, they were tied with Man City for fewest goals in the league conceded. They had the second best XGD, both overall and at home. And where's this match taking place? As you pointed out, St. James Park. They're a tough team to beat here. I love Isak. I take him over 15.5 goals this season. I think this price is fair, and I think Newcastle's going to win. I'll lay the juice. There
we go. Mano a mano. Some disagreements. I'm going to send you into the ring with Kevin first, and then if either one of you are still standing, I'll get in there. But let's see if I can get Pavlos on my side. Pavlos, give me your thoughts on Newcastle and Aston Villa.
Okay, first of all, I'm going to start by saying that we learned yesterday that Aston Villa's Emiliano Buendia, who was supposed to start at the 10 position, this is the position that creates the offensive opportunities for the team. Suffered an injury, and he's going to be unavailable for quite a few months. But they do have several players who can substitute him very well. One of them is Coutinho, who I was surprised that he didn't leave in the transfer window. He's a very good player, but he struggled to get it going in his return to the EPL. They also got Tielemans, who they bought from Leicester City. So McGinn also can play at the 10. So they have a lot of players. So take that injury with a grain of salt, because it's not that devastating. Now, both teams did a really good job in their friendlies with a lot of goals. Both scored and conceded. Newcastle scored 2+ goals in 6 of 7 friendlies, and against very good teams like Villarreal, Fiorentina, Brighton, Chelsea, Aston Villa, and Rangers. But they kept just 2 clean sheets. And Aston Villa, again, they were impressive in the friendlies in July and August. They won 3 and drew 3. They didn't lose any against teams like Fulham, Newcastle, Valencia, Brentford, and Lazio. So they scored 2+ goals in 5 of 6 matches, and it kept just 2 clean sheets. So the way that these two played at home and on the road last season, I'm just have to take the over 1 goal in the first half. I think there's going to be at least a goal here. As you guys touched on, both these teams are playing in the Champions and Europa Conference League, respectively. This midweek international matches, they start, I think it's in the second half of September. So until that comes, these teams that are participating in these competitions, they know that they're going to have to take as many points as they can at the start of the season, because when the Champions League rolls over, there's going to be a lot of distractions. They're going to have to rotate a lot. So I believe that the teams that are going to play in Europe in these competitions are going to they feel that they're obliged and they're forced to make good starts in the season in order to grab as many points as they can, because when September hits, you're going to see a different, different faces and different reactions from these teams. And Newcastle, I'm not sure if they're going to finish in the top 4, because, the Champions League is a big distraction. And Aston Villa, to be perfectly honest, I think that when Emery is going to win, is going to try to win the Europa Conference League and maybe get a ticket to the Europa League for the next season through that. So as far as this match goes, I think there's going to be at least one goal in the first half. I think taking the over one goal in the first half is a very safe way to approach this. And as Kevin said, these two teams met in a friendly match. It was a 3-3 draw and had 4 goals in the first half. Again, it was a friendly. Take it with a grain of salt. However, both teams, they used similar lineups to what we will see in this match. So, yeah, sign me up for the over one goal in the first half.
I like that play, Pavlos. 5 straight games, if you include that friendly, that had 4 goals in the first half. 5 straight games between these two that have had at least a goal in the first half. Last year, both teams winning on home soil by 3-0 and 4-0 score lines. So we did see some goals in the fixtures last season between these two. Guys, with the EPL season on, we have a early bird promo that is going on right now. You get the full season of the Premier League from any one of your favorite cappers on this show, and that includes Nick Borrman as well too. He'll be back next week. $1.99 every single play future prop that is released for the Premier League for $1.99. That goes that the regular price on that is $2.99. So grab that deal before it expires. All right, boys, we're going to head into the third and final game. It is the team we loved to fade last year. Now, whether we do it again this year remains to be seen, but it is Chelsea and Liverpool. Chelsea plus 190, the draw plus 258. Liverpool coming in at plus 136. Stamford Bridge for this one. We've seen, Kev, a lot of players moved from Chelsea. They're either in Saudi Arabia or somewhere else. This is possibly a new look Chelsea team. Are they still a fade for us?
This this game. It's just difficult to know what we're going to get out of these two teams, in all honesty. Never mind Chelsea. Liverpool had a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde season last year. They were absolutely terrible to start the year, but obviously as the year wore on, started to come good. But that midfield in Liverpool's, that's been decimated now. Serious amount of turnover for them in that midfield area across the summer. Looks like a bit of a hodgepodge outfit, and all that uncertainty is faced against the Chelsea team here, who, never mind just the players. They went through 3 managers in just 7 months last season. 4 if you count Bruno Salter's. What did he have? 3 days in charge. So I just don't know what we're going to get here. I need to see both of these teams play a few games before I would feel comfortable betting on them. Tons of attack and threat on either side, but we've seen these two teams play out 4 consecutive 0-0 draws. So I just can't separate them here. And because of that, look, if you're going to give me a head start on either one of these two sides, I'm going to take it. 6 straight draws in their last 6 head-to-heads between them. So if you're going to give me a plus quarter goal on Liverpool or Chelsea, and it happens to be Chelsea, that's the side I'm going to take, because I just don't know what's going to happen in this game. So, Chelsea plus a quarter goal for me, minus 125.
I'm taking Liverpool, Kev. So again, guys, if you disagree, Liverpool plus 136 for me. Drop your comments in the video below, and we'll engage with you. If you have some questions there, you can drop them in the comment section as well, too. The guys on the show will talk to you. But it wasn't the greatest of starts to last season for Liverpool. They started with a 2-2 draw against Fulham, and then a 1-1 draw against Crystal Palace at home. They're going to want to get off to a better start, Brian. I have to believe. Whether it happens at Stamford Bridge or not remains to be seen. But what are your thoughts on this one?
My thoughts, Carmer. What better way to start a year than by taking an over in a match involving Chelsea? That's what we're going to do here. Look, we all remember last year. We don't need to go over the dirty details, but I will. Last season, Chelsea averaged just 1 goal per match. How bad is that? It was their lowest average of the top flight in nearly 100 years. So they can only go up, right? It was comically poor finishing. We all watch these matches. They're hitting the woodwork. They scored 14 fewer goals than expected, okay, last year. I think there's going to be progression to the mean. We've hit on the reconfigured attack here for Chelsea. So they're going to score more goals this year. And Liverpool, Kevin kind of touched on this, they've got issues defensively. They were giving up a ton of high-quality chances last year. And again, I don't know how much we put into the preseason, but from what I saw with Liverpool, I don't think those defensive issues are fixed. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to lose here, but I do think we're going to see at least 3 goals scored on Sunday, which may seem crazy. Kevin said it, and he was telling the truth. The last 4 head-to-head meetings between these two sides, all 0-0 draws. So we're bucking history. We're bucking last year. Look, man, it's a new year, a new Chelsea. Over 2 3/4 is the play here. Let's have some fun with it, man. Come on, Chelsea.
Come on, Chelsea, he says. And listen, we're not mocking or making fun of Chelsea. There are a lot of fans of this Chelsea team, and Kevin and I are fans because they made us money a couple seasons or a few seasons back winning the Champions League, and we cashed that ticket. We were pretty happy about that. So, Pavlos, I'm going to give you the final word on this, and then we are going to do a recap at the end of the show so you can see what plays each capper is leaning towards. But Pavlos, I mentioned this team, Liverpool, last season, a horrible start for them. They draw 2-2 against Fulham, draw at home, 1-1 against Crystal Palace, lose at Old Trafford 2-1, and they pick up 2 points in their first 3 games. And then week 4, they put 9 up on Bournemouth. Where are you going with this one?
Draw. There's several reasons why I like to draw. First of all, I'm going to start by saying that what's really interesting in this head-to-head is the fact that each of the last 6 matches between the two sides have been draws, and each of the last 4 were goalless draws, and 3 of them were in London. Now, Chelsea, as you guys said, they're coming off a devastating season in which they finished at the bottom half. They're not playing in Europe this season, so starting off in a home match with a loss to Liverpool is going to be it's going to have a devastating effect in this organization from top to bottom. Everybody's going to be upset. I'm not sure that Chelsea gonna want to start the season with such a bad way. So they're going to fight and give it a roll, even though it comes in the expense of a win to avoid the loss. Now, Liverpool, on the other hand, kind of a similar season in which they didn't finish in the top 4. They finished 5th. So they're going to play in the Europa League, which some might view as a downgrade, but I believe that they can actually win the Europa League. However, it's going to be a distraction for sure. If they want to make a deep run in the Europa League, it's going to be a distraction. Now, both teams, they made several changes, as you guys said. Chelsea switched their entire roster. Again, chemistry is going to be an issue. The one player that they brought as their highest transfer, Nkunku, went under the knife. He's going to be away for like 3 to 4 months minimum. So there's some, bad luck there. But of course, they have the roster, to substitute him. But do they have the chemistry? I'm not entirely sure where to go with this one. But all these stats and all this, it's more. This play is based both on stats because these two are involved in draws more often than not, and it's also based on psychology and mainly because neither team is going to want to lose. Liverpool not going to want to lose the first game on the road. I think a draw here would do both these teams very good. Nobody was going to be upset after this match. So I think they're going to lock each other up in a draw. So I was expecting the draw to be at like plus 220, plus 230. I see a plus 260, and I love that. Sign me up for the draw here, plus 275, plus 260 if you shop around. I think that's a very, very possible scenario here.
All right. Well, you like the draw. Brian thinks there's going to be some goals. So I'll just go one step further. And a 2-2 exact score draw pays 11-1 on your money. So if you guys are into props and you love betting them, drop them in the comment section below, because we always love to get some feedback from you guys on what you like in any certain game that weekend. And we'll, of course, we'll reply with some comments on it as well too. Kev, I'm going to go to you for our recap section. We'll have a look at the plays up on the board. Let us know what clients can expect from you over at WagerTalk this weekend.
Well, it's the final few days to take advantage of code CFB free, Carmine. That runs until Sunday to get my entire college football season for absolutely zero. Head on over to my page right now for details on that. Beyond that, we've got a 5% EPL play already loaded for match day 1 this weekend. And Rugby World Cup is only a few weeks away as well. Huge tournament over in France kicks off September 8th. We've already got a package up on our page, primed and ready for that. And so, yeah, going to be a big next few weeks.
All right, good to hear, and good luck to you. Brian, what do you have up at WagerTalk? And let's have a look at your leans on today's show.
Yeah, for Thursday, Carm, got Major League Baseball and NFL preseason. It's all in one package together right now if you take advantage. And also, obviously, with the Premier League season kicking off this weekend, use the code POWER3. You can get the next 3 days for just $39. That'll take you all the way through match week 1. Get you all my baseball and NFL preseason as well. If you want to go even longer, Power 7, get you 7 days at the cost of just 3 days. That's $59. But for Thursday, baseball, NFL preseason, and then we'll plan. And then my complete Premier League card should be up by tomorrow, Friday. And please, everybody, check out the Power 5 here on WagerTalk TV. Every morning, we run through the 5 things you need to know.
All right. Love to hear Power 7 has such a good ring to it. Pavlos, you've been doing absolutely fantastic in soccer this summer and this year. Tell us what you have up at WagerTalk, and we'll have a look at your leans.
Okay, I have a 4% best bet for Saturday in the EPL. Mind you, I went 7-3 in EPL 4% and 5% releases last season. I didn't release a lot of them, just 10, won 7. So it's been going really good. I'm on a 30-13 run in 4% releases right now, and plus 122 units since May. So I have a 4% Copa Libertadores loaded for Thursday. I also have just a small play for the Burnley versus Manchester City match on Friday. And that's it. I have 2 best bets and 1 play in the Burnley versus Manchester City on Friday. And that's it.
All right. Best of luck to you as well. Guys, my EPL plays can be found up at WagerTalk on my page. We have that great early bird special deal, $199 for every single play, prop, and future. That regularly goes for $299, and we'll be returning to that regular price soon. So take advantage of it. Guys, hopefully we gave you some actionable info that you can make some money on. If you're looking for more info on some other games and other sports, click on the video that precedes this one or follows this video, and we'll see you next Tuesday on Stoppage Time.